If you have ADHD, getting a diagnosis shouldn't be hard, but sometimes it is. We've come a long way from the mental health stigma that people used to face, but barriers still exist for getting a diagnosis and treatment. So let's say you've finally gotten over your own fears and gotten over mental health imposter syndrome. And maybe you've gotten over social stigma that everyone from your parents to your high school math teacher have instilled in you over the years. Maybe you've heard things like, stop being lazy, stop playing so many video games, it's all in your head, or it's just something that someone made up. But when you show up to your doctor's office looking for a diagnosis, maybe your primary care doctor says that they can't help you. Even more frustratingly, maybe your psychiatrist tells you that it's not something they're comfortable treating. Why is that? What's the deal? So why is it so hard to get care for one of the most widespread yet treatable issues in all of mental health? In this video, I'm going to tell you about some things you may unfortunately run into on your journey to your diagnosis. I'm going to talk about why some of these things are happening and how to either avoid or overcome some of these obstacles in order to ultimately get your diagnosis and treatment. So usually your first step anytime you have any kind of medical concern is to go to your primary care doctor. Even though your primary care doctor may offer you some initial questionnaires about certain mental health conditions, some of them don't feel comfortable treating ADHD for a number of reasons. Some primary care doctors don't have DEA authorization to prescribe controlled substances like stimulants. With primary care doctors, care can vary from doctor to doctor. Some may feel very comfortable treating ADHD, some may feel completely uncomfortable, have no experience, and ultimately won't be able to help you except for referring you out to specialized care. So at the very least, they can get you set up with a therapist or a psychiatrist who does specialize in ADHD. Unfortunately, some doctors have a bias against ADHD as a diagnosis. They either call into question the existence of ADHD or have a very incorrect view of how prevalent it actually is. Well, ADHD has been recognized as an official diagnosis for decades at this point, and it should be something that's taken very seriously regardless of your doctor's training background. Some doctors may have a prejudice towards addiction and may overly be concerned about the addictive potential of stimulant medications. The potential does exist, but it's a very low percentage of people who actually end up becoming addicted to stimulants when properly treated by a professional who knows what they're doing with these medications. Having untreated ADHD actually gives you a 2 times higher chance of becoming addicted to substances compared to a person without ADHD. As far as any doctor's bias about ADHD being a diagnosis that's overblown, ADHD continues to be an underdiagnosed and undertreated disorder in population medicine. Additionally, not all psychiatrists are actually well trained in treating ADHD. I will say that most child psychiatrists have more training in treating ADHD than the average general psychiatrist, but some training programs in general psychiatry do provide a lot of training in ADHD as far as management and treatment goes. I would always ask when scheduling with a psychiatrist if they feel comfortable treating ADHD. Some don't feel comfortable and do not even prescribe stimulants. I would say fortunately those are the rare exception. Most psychiatrists do feel comfortable treating ADHD. However, sometimes when going to the psychiatrist, you may not get the answer that you have ADHD, but you have something else going on. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, it just means that you're getting an accurate diagnosis. There are many mental health issues and disorders that may result in a decrease in focus and attention. Things like anxiety, depression, trauma, all can factor into your attention level. It's always important that your doctor conduct a full evaluation in order to give you an accurate diagnosis and subsequently an accurate treatment. Often you could have ADHD, but you could also have one of these other disorders, such as depression. And what's the point of treating your ADHD if your depression remains high? So it's better to get treated for some of these comorbidities along with your ADHD. So what can you do when you hit a roadblock? You're always entitled to a second opinion, but I always encourage people to have a further discussion if there's something that they don't understand about their diagnosis or why their doctor arrived at that decision. There's never anything wrong with advocating for yourself or asking for further clarification. When searching for a psychiatrist, I would start with your insurance company and ask if they can refer you to a psychiatrist who treats ADHD. Usually they'll provide you with a list of people who are relevant. Your mileage may vary. If you do have the means, you can go to a psychiatrist who's out of network who specializes in ADHD, and there are plenty around. anytime you set up an evaluation, I would make sure to go ahead and call ahead to the office or to the psychiatrist and make sure that they do in fact treat ADHD, so that way you're not wasting your time or your money. Not everyone has the same access to care, but everyone's entitled to sit in front of a doctor who will take them seriously and listen to their concerns. Finally, I want to hear from you guys. What roadblocks have you run into when trying to get a diagnosis for ADHD or something else? If this video was helpful, please watch some of my other videos about ADHD or other mental health issues. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.